I replayed 13 recently, expecting one thing: nostalgia. You know how it goes, you revisit some game you loved as a kid, you play it for 20 minutes, and then realize 10-year-old you had absolutely no standards whatsoever, right? But 13 did the exact opposite. The more I actually played it, guys, the more confused I got. Because this game is still so freaking bloody good. The shooting's fun, the art style is still unique, the story's actually clever, and all it made me think was, why the hell did Ubisoft abandon this whole freaking franchise of a game? Because after finishing it again, I genuinely think 13 deserved a lot better. So I first played 13 when I was about 10 years old, and let's be honest about something, I had absolutely no idea what was going on back then. Like, absolutely none. I was just running around with two Uzis, thinking I was the coolest person on earth, right? That was the entire experience. The story, like, what story? I was busy shooting everything that moved, but replaying it now as an adult, man, I finally get it, guys. The setup is actually brilliant. You wake up on a beach, you've got a gunshot wound, no memory, no idea who you are, and the only clue you've got is a tattoo in your neck that says 13. Then, within minutes, you discover the entire country thinks you assassinated the President of the United States, which is a hell of a thing to find out before you've even remembered your own name. And that's what pulled me in, because you're learning everything at the same time as the character. Every answer creates another question. Every time you think you have it figured out, the game just throws another curveball at you. And I won't spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played the game, but there's a reason people still remember this story. And honestly, the crazy thing is, the story isn't even what impressed me the most replaying it, because what really surprised me was how much fun it still is to actually play. The thing that hit me almost immediately was how fast 13 gets going. Some woman on the beach is helping you, you're trying to understand what's happening, and then suddenly bullets start flying everywhere. And from that point on, the game basically refuses to sit still. 1 minute you're sneaking around, and the next you're escaping prison. The next you've got two Uzis, and you're causing absolute chaos in the map. And man, those throwing knives, I completely forgot how satisfying those things are. You land one right in someone's head, and the comic panel pops up like boom, boom, boom. Guys, that's just instant dopamine, like damn. It still feels so good. And maybe this is gonna make me sound really old, you might feel the same, but 13 reminded me of something a lot of modern shooters have forgotten. It trusts you. No giant glowing arrow every freaking second to hit your dopamine spike, no constant hand-holding, no NPC treating you like you have never touched a controller before or a keyboard in front of you if you're on PC. The game just drops you in and lets you figure things out. And honestly, I kind of miss that in today's games, you know? Maybe that's why I felt like replaying it and why it felt so refreshing at the same time. Which just brought me back to the same question again. If this game is still this enjoyable, then what the hell happened? Why did Ubisoft just let it disappear? Now, obviously, wherever you go back to an older game, there's always that fear like, what if it's just nostalgia? What if a 10-year-old me was just a complete idiot? Completely possible, by the way, but honestly, yeah, 13 still holds up. The art style is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Most games from that era look old, let's be honest, but 13 looks different. Even now, it has that comic book presentation. The panels, the sound effects, the whole thing still has its own identity. And graphically, yeah guys, it's old. Of course it's old. It's from 2003 if I remember correctly. But I'm not gonna sit there pretending it looks like a modern game. But after about 20 minutes, I just stopped caring. Because the style is what carries the whole game. And the gameplay carries it as well. And then there's the story, which also carries the freaking game. Which makes the next part even more frustrating. because someone actually tried bringing 13 back and somehow managed to remind everyone why the original was so freaking good, because they couldn't make the freaking remake. So yeah, a few years ago 13 got a remake, and I remember being genuinely excited like a lot of people who loved the 13 game, right? I thought this was it. This is gonna be the remake we've been waiting for. And finally it dropped on Steam. People are gonna discover this game. Maybe this is the comeback. Maybe we're gonna get more from Ubisoft eventually, right? Maybe this is how we, finally get that sequel. Then it came out and not great, buggy, weirdly off. And I still struggle to explain exactly why. It just didn't feel like 13 anymore. It looked like 13, but it didn't feel like 13. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And that is why I am replaying the original right now, the 13 Classic. That's what they call it now. Because it's still the version worth playing. But all of this just made the main question even harder to ignore. Because if the original was this good, why did it die? So I started looking into it, and honestly guys, I expected some huge disaster here. Maybe players hated it, maybe critics absolutely destroyed it, maybe it completely flopped, but that's not really what happened. People did like 13. People praised the style. People still talk about it over 20 years later. The real reason is way less dramatic than you might think. It just didn't sell enough copies. And that's it. Like seriously, that's the reason they stopped making a sequel to this game. Not because the game was terrible, not because nobody cared, not because the concept didn't work. It simply didn't make as much money as Ubisoft wanted, so the sequel got cancelled. And guys, honestly, that's the part that annoys me the most, because replaying 13 today makes it obvious this wasn't some failed experiment or a failed game. This was some crazy disaster. This was a genuinely unique game, a genuinely memorable game, and it got left behind because it wasn't a blockbuster. And honestly, it freaking sucks. Because here's the thing that still gets me. After everything, after all the twists in the game, after all the questions, the game ends with 3 words at the end. To be continued. And I remember seeing that as a kid and thinking, oh shit, let's go, 13-2. When is it coming out? And then years later, absolutely nothing. No sequel, no ending, nothing. What the hell? And maybe that's why this game has stayed with me for so long. Not because it's perfect, it isn't. It definitely has flaws. But because it did enough right that you wanted more. And that's why replaying it annoyed me. It annoyed the freaking hell out of me. Because now I want more too. I understand the freaking story now while I'm a lot older. And unless something changes, we're probably never getting it. And honestly guys, like the title says, like the thumbnail just says to you when you click the video, 13 deserved a lot better. But let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you appreciate my opinions on games like this, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you. There's a lot more opinionated things coming when it comes to games. Hope to have you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, stay awesome.